Good afternoon. Capital Improvements Chair Tim Toth. I'd like to call our Capital Improvements Committee meeting of today to order. Time is 3:30 p.m. Everybody, please join me to recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Flag is to my right.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for that. First item on our agenda is approval of the meeting minutes of our meeting on 11/2/2021. Anybody have a chance to look these over?
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes as written.
I'll second that.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the minutes as presented. Is there any discussion on this, on these minutes? Second call, any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, we will go to a vote. Mr. Graves?
Yes.
Ms. Bartolomeo?
Abstain.
Ms. Richards?
Yes,
I'm sorry.
that's fine.
Did I get it wrong? I did.
Richardson.
Richardson, I apologize. Mr. Smith?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. Okay, we will enter the meeting minutes as approved. Okay, next up is department reviews. We'll start with the sewer department. Oh, hello, welcome. What's all yours, Mr. Oak?
We just have a couple things
Okay,
coming up. The first one is our cardiac pump station. We're looking to design to replace that. The station is also considerably, I believe. The last thing we've gotten a list to do, it's probably the most deteriorated. It's time to replace it.
we'd love to say that things last forever, but sadly, that is just not the case.
Exactly.
Circa 1978, that's not too bad in the grand scheme of things.
Yes.
On the Otter River, right? Or the
No.
Allen, yes.
Yes. We're going to custom showers.
How are you gonna pay for it?
We applied for the ARPA or retained earnings. Goal is a year after to possibly do the replacement.
So this will just be for the engineering services.
That's it.
When it comes time for the pump itself, what time frame are you figuring?
To do the replacement?
Yeah.
Fiscal 24, I believe, what we're planning on. It'll be a pump station like what's across from Uncle's package store, Patriots package store.
Yep, yep.
Same style, all above ground. Well, right now, everything's lattice to get to the pump station itself. The pumps are at 2 floors below ground level.
It's come a long way since then.
Entry was what, well, so we're not presuming what was enough.
What kind of shape are the rest of them in?
Pleasant Street, not Pleasant Street, Patriot, Plant Road would be the one after this one probably. It's pretty much the twin station.
Yeah.
Just it's probably in better shape. And Maple Street would be the last one. It's just an injection station.
They make them easier to take care of now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, don't have to enter what walls enough for it, it's retrievable.
That is a good thing.
Yeah.
Nothing
Safe
more,
route.
there's nothing more the safety aspect.
That, it's a long time.
You know, it's,
With the house well will last,
Serves
the
us
last
well.
20 years.
Yeah.
you know, on average.
Maple Street's the oldest, but it's complicated.
That's up on, that's built up, isn't it?
Yeah, it just runs on the heavy presses. We just grab it under the river, goes to Pleasant Street.
Did you look at Crotty Avenue? That's not, did you look to see, I saw a new map, it was on this thing called flood factor. And it showed the projection for the crisis, the climate change and the increase in water and rain and all that, how much more it's gonna, an area is gonna flood.
Yeah.
Did you guys check that out?
No.
Why don't you do that before you,
I believe in the design,
okay,
That's something to look at.
it would be safe?
but I will make sure.
Yeah, because I mean, really, 20 years ago, you could be 20 feet from a river. But if that river, that amount of water goes way up, that, I saw a house on Nantucket, beautiful yard, except with the projections of the ocean increasing, half the yard's gonna be gone.
Yeah. I don't know how much it can come up because Siemens has got the dam.
See, in 38,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, washed everything away.
Hmm.
I think that's something to look at.
Yeah, think about it anyway. Yeah, all of them, you got them in floodplains.
Pleasant Street's out of floodplain.
Is it okay?
And the other thing was on that is we have a 1991 Holland tractor we're looking to replace. It's 1991, so it's 16, 26 years. No. Good enough for math. It's treated as good, but it's got oil leaks now. It's the last piece of equipment we got to pretty much change, and everything's been turned over. The next thing would be our 1 ton in 3, 4, 5 years. And, we're looking to replace that with a finish mower and add a flail mower to it.
This is looking to come out of retained earnings
This is the
also.
thing, yes.
Would there be enough in the retained earnings if you don't get the ARPA funds, are unable to use the ARPA funds on the design?
Yeah, we have,
If we had to do both,
we have over 400,000. Or 60%. And this should last. I'll be retired before this is last. I got one.
I mean, how much work do you do with it? You clean around the yard and stuff?
Yeah, that, we use it, it's got a bucket on it, using landfill. It cleans all our easements.
Well, then it's used more than I would have projected, just using it on
Quite a
the
bit.
landfill, yes?
Yeah, if we don't use that, then we use a loader, which is a whole China shop, just too
Yeah.
big for a lot of things.
Yeah. Good.
It does all the easements, the out behind Payne's garage, Mill Street, wherever the grass is very low land. It's a landfill. Mower, it'll mow the plant.
Sounds sensible.
One of those applications where smaller is better.
Yeah,
But if you get it too small, then you can't do half of what you need to do.
I wouldn't try to let you take my Kubota lawn tractor with the front end loader on it. Would not do the job. Any other questions? What is the estimate on the finish mower?
that is,
See, it's a Woods mower. I'm familiar with the Woods product.
yeah, that's the one where that it's with, that. The Woods mower is what's getting replaced.
Okay.
The new one is a,
Where New Holland,
that's the tractor getting.
It's on
replaced.
this
Yeah.
Sahon one. Is that the Land Pride grooming mower that we're talking?
Yes, it should be, yeah. Look at the John Deere, because it's quite a bit cheaper than the Kubota.
Okay.
And Highway has a John Deere. Also, Last one down says. Floors on the last page for the John Deere.
Standardization is a good thing. It's always nice when, if push comes to shove and we need to have a service call, we can get multiple pieces of equipment serviced at the same time.
that would take
If you got
planning.
John Deere attachments, you can swap.
It takes a little bit.
Oh, shit. And I got the Kubota just to compare, and they were quite a bit more money.
Any other questions from members? Okay, we thank you for taking the time to present this. And as we go through all the rest of the departments, we'll be continuing to review the requests. And we get the fun part of sorting through and prioritizing.
Okay, I thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
Take care.
Yeah, you too. Community Services, Mr. Castle, we're gonna put you up next, if you are ready, sir. That's no change, I need to change my glasses.
So I can read my computer. Afternoon,
Good afternoon.
thank you for having me today. So we have several requests. The interesting thing about this is, whoops. The interesting thing about this is some of these have been on our budget for a year or more, and they tend to roll over since we're an enterprise account. And the reason we do it like that is we put the money in there in case we can use it in that time period.
Yep.
So at any time, if a truck ran over our station, we may need to spend $60,000 to get ourselves back up and running. So all the stuff that's always in our capital account is, we're intending to spend, but we just haven't got around to some of them yet.
You have your hands full this year.
Yeah, and last year, we really, we couldn't spend a lot of it. So whatever's first on your list, I'm happy to address.
And we have your cover letter dated October 26th. Let's see, your FY 23 Town Hall camera systems, it's a rollover, Scout Hall furnishings,
It's a partial rollover.
partial rollover, equipment upgrades yearly, regional website, expenditure plus the grant and a budgeted of 5,000 for FY 22. Mobile switching system rollover, 2 camera Zoom switcher. Then you have some other costs listed in here, your fiber optic relocation, the possible rollover, live streaming warranty annual, TV server warranty annual, cloud streaming services annual, with a total request of 114,300. So in no particular order,
Would you like me to
it just
just run through them and explain?
please.
Okay, so the town hall camera system, we had put this on FY 22. As I think I've explained to the select board in a meeting. The meeting owl here in front of us has been great to give us meetings with Zoom and remote participants, but the existing system that we have in this room cannot bring Zoom in, or so I'm told. So this is a good temporary solution until we figure that out. And as I told the selectmen, with all the volatility in today's market and the technology, who knows what that thing's going to look like in 2 years or anything else. And
Probably be obsolete.
this would be a very risky time, I think, to make that kind of investment. I'm not saying I wouldn't do it if something really caught my eye, if something were completely remote controlled for us. And chances are by the time we replace the in-room system, if we decide to go there, a lot of TV stations are adopting Meeting Owl. And, that in some future form may be the way we decide to go, and it may be a more economical way. But if we were to enhance the system, you'd probably put artificial intelligence behind the cameras or in the cameras, just like is in there, so they can switch automatically, but want it remote controlled. And, last year I thought, yeah, we could probably get that with a trade-in and around 20, but it'd probably end up being around 30 now if we did it. So it's still an if. And we probably really won't get into diving into that system that's here until January, and I'll be on the floor in that closet quite a lot, rewiring stuff and seeing exactly what it can do. So that's why that's very likely to roll over, I think. We certainly wouldn't buy it twice, and that's the plan, not to buy it twice.
Yeah, early in the spring, there was an MMA presentation, and a lot of communities were jumping on the bandwagon with the owl, but they had not addressed the interoperability. So it sounds like you've done your homework and have us a step ahead,
Um,
thinking down the road.
Just trying to keep up on the homework right now.
Well,
So
technology changes so fast.
it's always gonna be a risk.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be like, driving a car and having it depreciate as soon as you roll out the lot.
That's the way it is.
So, plan on every 4 or 5 years to have to change out this system perhaps. But I really think at this time it's so volatile, nobody knows what happens. Who knows, the next great technology might be sitting on a cargo ship in a port somewhere,
Right.
We don't know what's gonna happen, but I think we'll have a better idea and it'll be less risky next year.
Yeah, right now, everything, I don't care whether it's makes sense or not, you touch it and it's more expensive.
Yeah.
Or then you want it and you can't get it because it's, then we'll have a glut when all this stuff finally gets here and gets in the system.
Yeah, and there's some digital stuff like, there are basically protocols that one is a new one, well, it's a new one, it's a version 5, but no, and it's supposed to have this great feature that's great for hybrid meetings, but no one's quite sure whether it works yet. So
Yeah, you
hold
better.
off.
Looks good on paper.
Yeah, but hopefully in 23 we'll be able to move on something.
Okay.
And the Scout Hall furnishings, I've had 10,000 in the past few years. We haven't got there yet. And, we're not going to see any of the CPA money. That's going to be spent on just getting us in there. And we're going to need cabinets built and a set built and some other storage as well. So
I'd rather see you get in there and know what you need and plan so it makes sense. We always do things without a plan and it comes back to bite us.
so,
I trust your judgment.
I would like to say 20,000, but it costs 30,000. One of the first things I gotta do is spec out a security system.
Yeah.
So, we'll have cameras in there.
Oh, yeah. You've
For
got too much
security, not just the
equipment.
cameras.
No,
we
yeah,
use.
but you've just, you have too much valuable stuff.
All right. And the people especially. are the most
Oh, yeah,
valuable.
that's true.
So I just put 30 in there in case we needed to do that to really get it up to speed. And hopefully we can start spending the 20 that we have this year by spring. I think that's a best shot scenario though. The 50,000 in equipment upgrades we put in yearly. That's cameras, tripods. I'm always buying tripods, it seems. Computers. I just ordered $6,000 worth of computers. Guess what? 6 weeks out.
That's actually pretty quick.
I hope they're here at 6 weeks. And the regional website, we've spent 10 on it. I've seen a design now. We have another 5 budgeted in FY22. Things will start going up when I start saying, but why can't it do this?
Don't do
So,
it right, yeah.
And
Pick it apart.
and we may have an opportunity with the local business incubator, if they help sponsor that website, to really build out the ad platform
Yep.
for it, which we're holding as a second phase, and that's going to be probably $10,000 right there. And then the ultimate goal is if businesses really want it and like it and use that as a business partner, that's what we got the grant for, was to give businesses a digital platform in the area. We may go to e-commerce at some time. So, we become the middleman with people buying. That's kind of pie in the sky right now. But, when you're talking about that, you're talking about a $25,000 to $30,000 website. And I think we just need to cover that in case.
Well, considering you don't have a real roof over your head, I think we have to start with the roof, the floor, the walls.
Yeah.
You've worked in a closet.
We don't mind being kind of digital nomads to an extent,
I
but
know,
we
but-
do need a place where our clients and sponsors can come in and say, hey, look at this video we did for you, and people can
They can
work
talk to you
there.
about an ad, talk to you about a
Yeah.
project.
Yeah,
Right now, well, he's at the high school somewhere, or he's maybe he's over at Scout Hall, or you just can't do business like that. People don't have time to waste chasing you around. Yeah.
so hopefully we'll get in there and that will be helpful.
Yep,
And
you
the
can work that
website
out.
should be huge too. The mobile switching system, we had originally looked to do 2 of them for a total of $30,000. I think that was in one of my previous budgets. We bought one last year and that's one that can incorporate Zoom, but that's only a 2-camera system, 2 cameras without Zoom or Zoom and 1 camera. So that was actually the plan to use in this room until we got our hands on a meeting owl. I think it could have some other usages, but we basically already bought 1 switcher for half the price. A 3-camera switcher would probably be in the range of 11 to 12,000. Want to do it? And what that allows us to do is we could go to a remote location and set up 3 cameras for a talk show, say.
Yep.
1 on this side, 1 in the middle, 1 on that side, and they call it live switching. You're not actually, it may not be live, it could be live streaming, but you're actually recording to a little card, but you're switching the camera that's recording, that you're recording. So those systems will tend to run $10,000 to $11,000. And that's not a high priority for us right now, but I think as soon as we start going out and doing more video production work, it will be. And those are my big ticket items, over 10. I don't know if you want to talk about the smaller stuff. The fiber optic relocation has been on the budget for a while now. And we're just waiting to see if emergency response does their CPA thing, and they need to upgrade their electrical before we go in there. But that may be a better and more strategic location for us. But just the fiber runs right by the window. I could practically reach out and grab it, but Comcast will charge us $5,000.
I was gonna say Comcast is a little cost prohibitive right
Yeah.
now, correct?
We could use a third party. We bargained for that, but I think for this, we would almost have to use Comcast because it's their dedicated line. And the real cost in that is the electronics, it's the connecting the fiber to what we're sending out. And the mass access, not mass access, the mass broadband fiber terminates there at the emergency response building. So Rich and Mike have been great with us on, hey, when you're ready, you know, they have a locked office upstairs. We could have a desk space up there as well. And probably be a little bit better than across the lot. But the light department's been great. They've been great landlords for us all the time too. So they're super for us on that.
I think it's good for you to explain the stuff, especially for the people that are watching. Because they don't have a clue if they don't hear from you and you're too busy in the background doing all the work. You saved our town during this pandemic. I've said it before, I will say it again. Without the remote, without the Zoom meetings, things would have come to a standstill.
I have a good crew.
You and the crew, I can't leave them out. You really did though. Without that, we would have been just lost because we couldn't have got nothing done.
I don't know how much credit I should take. You know, Terry Griffiths in the first week of the pandemic said, Steve, why don't you just investigate those video conferences? And I'm like, oh, come on.
But she was
And a
right.
day or two later, we were on Zoom.
Yeah.
And then Sean came up with a brilliant idea of, you know, when he was here, of, well, we don't need to invite everyone into Zoom. We can use the YouTube chat. That was brilliant. And I didn't have that idea. So it was my job to just figure out if we could make it work. And
Sean come in there for a long time.
a good
He's
young
a
man.
sweetheart, yes.
Many minds working together.
Yeah, so
Can
you
be-
pick out different things from different people.
can
And
be-
you're always open to that, so
And
I thank you.
they keep me in line.
In the early spring, one of the MMA conferences, the video conferences I attended, where they were speaking specifically to how did towns, what was the resiliency, how did they react, what did they do? And some of what they're presenting, I'm sitting there watching going, yeah, we do that. Yeah, we do that. Oh, we're way ahead of that game. Yeah, we do
That's a nice
that.
feeling.
And that was a wonderful feeling. It's like, you know, this definitely is a reflection on what TCTV is doing for the community.
Well, it's our job and we're trying to keep up and we're happy to do it. So
Good job.
We appreciate it, and I want to know where you found all the free time to do this research with all the other work you're doing for us.
it happens bit by bit, Tim.
Absolutely.
When we were in the dumps last year around this time, and we're trying to figure out how to get our new server to work, and you know, all those streams we do, they weren't working very well at first. Before we even tried meetings and talked about it, so we're trying little progress every day.
We did it.
So,
When we needed you, you were
yeah,
there.
figure out one thing. And that's how you get through tough times, I think.
Yes. But if you hadn't, if you didn't think the way you do, and if you weren't prepared the way you are, oh boy, we would have been in trouble.
It clearly demonstrates the
Our pleasure.
forward,
It's our pleasure.
the forward thinking and the fact it truly takes a village.
It does.
Your village was very small for one time. It's finally growing.
Any other questions, comments from the committee? Right, thank you for presenting. Thank you for all the background and digging through it.
Thank you for your help and for your volunteers.
And up next, certainly not least, Sheila Pelletier. Good afternoon.
How are you?
How are you doing? Well, how are you?
Good.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me here. So the request that I have is to build the park and to get an architect and a surveyor to Otter River, where the Houghton Park is now, and have them draw up plans for that area so that it can be a community center, a heroes park, and to allow the community to have events there.
Okay. And obviously, this would be coordinated through the selectman's office, specifically the town administrator, because we have the requirements to go out for the purchasing and
Of course, so this is,
all of the pieces.
this is the first
This is the
step,
first
is
step.
to
Yep.
go out there, see how much it would be for us to do that. We talked to CPC already. They're on board to to improve that park area, as well as to bring Houghton Park up to ADA standards and update that playground area, the gazebo. So this would be the first step to do that. And then we would take that, like I did when we were talking about 4 Elm Street, and be able to address any concerns, get approval throughout the town, the Board of Selectmen, the town administrator, and hopefully move forward with giving our town a heroes park in a much needed area for events.
Sad shape.
Yes.
So the 10,000 CPC,
So right now, we're aiming at about $12,000. It's probably a little bit more than we need for the architect and surveyor. But it was those $7,000 for 4 Elm Street that we paid for both of them. So of course, Otter River is a little bit larger, so we're expecting their fees to be a little higher. And right now, we don't have CPC committed to giving us any money.
Now, would you be able to have any of those numbers before we have to go through on our final voting coming up down in a few months as far as putting things forward, or?
For this 12,000 that we're asking, this would be the initial fee just to get the surveyor and the architect to come back, tell us if it's feasible, and then tell us how much they estimate us doing the park. At that point, once we know what that figure is, then we can go back to the CPC and ask them to fund that.
I see on the project request form, we also have light and water. I know there was some work donated by Templeton Power and Light, and they did some emergency type repairs on the gazebo over there.
Right.
Got the roof under control for us. And
Right, they've actually been a big help, even at the 4 Elm Street, when I asked them to aim a light where the flags were gonna be.
Mhm.
They actually did that just on my request. Otter River, they were actually looking at not only doing the gazebo, but they wanted to put some money into the playground area as well. So they are on board to helping us, improving that park area. And
No, that's not part of their pilot. This is just a donation.
I can't speak on that. I don't know.
It's a big difference.
Yeah.
What's their pilot? And then,
It's a payment in lieu of taxes that we are supposed to
no,
collect.
this would be a donation.
Okay, it's a
Sorry.
donation, right? Okay. Well, the area could use it. There are new people in town, little kids. And they shouldn't have to go all the way to Gilman Wait to play. Same thing as out here. There should be a place for them to play too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
Any other thoughts, comments? Wait till we- All right, thank you for presenting.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Have a good day.
You as well.
Any other presentations that did not make it to our agenda? I don't believe there were any. Yeah, our next scheduled meeting will be November 17th, if memory serves me correctly. Same bat time, same bat channel, as shows that my youth used to always close with. Any thoughts one last time from any of the committee members? No, let's make this way too easy. Hearing no further discussions or needs to discuss, I will entertain a motion. We adjourn.
So moved.
Second. I have a motion and a second for adjournment. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Mr. Graves,
Yes.
Ms. Bartel Mayo,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Richardson,
Yes.
and I vote yes as well.